What is going on, Wolfpack Nation? Welcome back to the Tuffy Talk live show, y'all. We are here today. We have made it. We are perplexed. We are disappointed. We are sad. We are
Insert
here to
adjective here.
insert adjective here, exactly. But hey, listen, at the end of the day, this is a NC State fan therapy session because Lord knows we all need it. So put any thoughts, questions, concerns, requests you got into the chat. We will get to them here today. But with that being said, let's start off with the first question or first thought, I guess, which I want to hear everybody in the chat what y'all think. But how's everybody feeling today? Everybody doing good? Everybody have a good Monday? I mean, I know, Greg, how was your day, man? Were you lively, energetic, your normal self, or just like me? Well, I see you're muted. I know you're working on some over there. But before you answer that question, I'll tell you that I'll be honest that I really have been dreading talking about this game today, talking about this today. For me, just kind of thinking through, okay, what do I want to say tonight? How do I want to say it? Like, what do I think? What do I want? What do I need? All those questions. And we'll kind of dive into that here today. But I mean, it definitely has been a tough day to focus 100%. Let's put it that way.
I think for me, the only redeeming quality is these tailgates start so early for me, and we put so much work into them, my wife and I.
Yes.
We didn't get to bed. Well, she didn't get to bed. I finally crashed about 1:00 in the morning on Friday/Saturday morning, and I think she didn't go to sleep until 3:00 in the morning. We were up at 5, finishing up prep tailgate, and then going to pack up the truck, and then tailgating, and then sitting in the heat, and then losing. And the nice thing is I'm so exhausted. I was in bed by 7:00, so I didn't have to sit around and think about it.
Exactly right. Yeah. No, I mean, and that's why I feel for fans like y'all the most, for sure. I mean, who put so much time and effort into all of it just to, have something like that happen, where it's just like, man, yeah. I mean, the tailgate itself is a blast. I mean, y'all put on a heck of a tailgate and a heck of a show for sure. And the food is phenomenal. The environment's phenomenal. The Jello shots are phenomenal. Everything about it. But at the end of the day, I mean, we're all there to watch NC State football. And we're there for a win. And the way it went down was just absolutely disgusting. Like, I know sometimes the thought kind of happens where you're like, I'd rather lose by 50 than lose, by 1. And, obviously there's, can be a lot of debate about that for sure, but not just that we lost, but how we lost, which we'll dive into a lot here. But a couple things real quick. I already got one pack here in the chat saying expectations are gone. No reason to be down about it though. And yeah, I mean, listen, Greg, I mean, at this point, listen, like, if we were to win out, the only positive is okay, another solid season and a win against UNC. But I mean, AC seed hopes gone. So I
Mhm.
mean, at this point, it's just kind of playing for pride. Would you agree with that consensus?
Yeah, I mean, there's still some goals, I'm sure, the first one being get the bowl eligible and then, go from there and try to build
Hmm.
up your bowl tier.
Yep.
Get to a good bowl, maybe something that we haven't been to. Yeah, I look, there's these kids are I may say kids, but they're adults, but they're still trying to play for
Young
their
adults.
next yeah, they're trying to play for their next opportunity. If that's the professionals, then that's fine. But at the end of the day, it's just a game. I mean, it's just a game.
Yeah.
So there's no like we can be frustrated as fans because we all put time, money, effort, all that good stuff into it, and we pay good money for these things, but it's still a game. It's still entertainment. Like even if we lose, I'm still entertained. So I'm still getting my money's worth. I'm not getting my full money's worth, but I'm still getting money's worth.
You're a good man, Greg. Let's put it that way. I mean, I wasn't even at the game because I was in Northern Virginia with my brother-in-law because they just recently had their baby. So I was meeting my nephew this weekend, and I mean, just watching on TV, I was like, "Holy smokes!" Like that was because I mean, like I'll be honest with you, like when we scored, when Justin Jolie scored that touchdown, I was like,
Sick
"It's
catch.
over." Yeah, like it was like I'm like, bro, like we scored two touchdowns, two drives in a row. 10-point
Yeah.
lead, 13 minutes left. I'm like, we've been balling out ever since Grayson went down for the most part. Not necessarily the best third quarter to that point, but listen, you got two touchdowns and in the second half, so you're feeling pretty darn good. And then, man, just disgusting there towards the end. But so real quick, touch on a couple of points. Michelle saying, "Good marvelous Monday, Wolfpack
Yeah.
Nation." Marvelous Monday, Michelle. Always appreciate you tuning in.
We're
Uh,
above ground, people. We are above ground.
That's right. Amen. And Andy saying, "Yeah, thank you, Greg, for at least killing the tailgate experience, man, for sure."
Just doing
Um,
my part.
Michelle saying, we've had worse years, but we expect him more based on all the talk and
Sure.
hype preseason, 100%."
Yeah.
Now here's one thought we'll go ahead and get to. Doran coached to not lose, Clausen coached to win. Same old story. Now looking back at the game,
Felt that
the
way.
it did feel that way. Well, and again, and you know what? Honestly, like same old story. Yeah, I mean that's kind of been unfortunately Doran's mo, which is just get far enough ahead and then rely on the defense to get it done. Well, the problem is that there was multiple times, specifically in that the first touchdown to make it a 3-point game, Greg, where there was opportunities, whether it was fumbles, near interceptions,
Mhm.
4th and 9s, you name it. It's like there was opportunities there. Like I honestly feel a little bit for Cade Fordham because I'm sure he's having that like the feeling the feeling of the leather of the football touching his hand on that fumble, just like just pressing through his head, man. Because like
Mhm.
he was literally like they talk about football as a game of inches. No, like that this game was a game of millimeters, man. Like if he could have just gotten to that ball just a millisecond earlier, then he would have recovered that thing and the game would have been over. But man, just sucks there. And then yeah, the near interception he should have had, just tough one, man. But
Well, and you
um,
have, 2nd and 12, and you get a roughing the passer. That you're gonna have a 3rd and 12. It
yeah,
just little things, man. It's just you're
little
just
things, yeah,
not. It's the attention to detail, and it's the look. There's not a lot of room for error. You can't go out and make mistakes, whether they're mental, whether they're physical, any of that. You have to play clean games in order to win, and we just didn't do that. We
yep,
struggled in many areas. We forced two turnovers, no points off of those.
yep,
It's a team loss. There's no doubt about it. I mean, from
100%.
the top down. Um,
Yep,
we missed a field goal.
yep.
I think
Newcastle didn't have his best game,
yeah, I think he
really.
had one issue,
Yeah.
but I mean, other aspects of special teams, we had a block punt, a partial block
Mhm.
punt.
Yep.
Uh, like, did you do enough to win the game? You did,
Oh, we'll get there. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I don't
Yeah.
want to get too far ahead of it, but go ahead.
No, you're good. No, again, I mean, just yeah, I mean, it point blank, it's a game we should have won. Point blank, plain simple. We should have won that game, and it hurts. It sucks, especially, with how the season has gone so far. Where there just unfortunately, Greg, has not been a game where it's like nice. You know what I mean? Like I've walked there to be like,
can we
that's
get a
what I'm
2-game
talking
winning
about.
streak? Can we get a 2-game winning streak?
Please, something like even if
Yeah.
even if the 2 wins aren't pretty, give me 2 wins in a row. Give me some momentum here.
Just haven't been able to
Exactly.
stack anything, and that's the problem.
Exactly. 100% right. So real quick, I want to bring up one thing which is just the most general biggest,
what really grinds my gears?
and that's our man, unfortunately, Grayson McCall, in this hit right here, which we'll walk through here very slowly. I usually would have the video file kind of separately, but I noticed that here, having this here on Twitter, it actually allows me to kind of stop it a little bit easier. So I mean, I'll play this thing all the way through here, and we'll walk it through here a little bit. But let us know in the comments what y'all think here. But I mean, obviously today, Doran was asked about this hit, and said that the targeting penalty should be looked at. Now, a couple of things which I noticed. First and foremost, if you watch, so if I can stop it at the right time. So right when number 5 and number 8 right there makes contact, as you see right there, his helmet's already coming off. Grayson's helmet is already coming off right there, which before the other 2 guys around him even make contact with him, which tells me either that helmet was not fitting him properly, it wasn't, the chin strap wasn't snugged, or that hit by number 8 was that vicious. But I just have a hard time believing that coming from the side. So I'm kind of leaning more towards the first, but I don't know. It's just like, I mean, what do you think about that, Greg? Because I'm looking at the shares here saying there's only been one player so far on the Wake Forest side that's made contact with him, and already Grayson's helmet is coming off right here. So,
yeah, I don't want. I mean, personally, I don't want to speculate on. It could literally could have been any of the things that you just mentioned, but so I'm at the other end of the stadium, and so there's no way I can even tell that if it's any of those things that you just mentioned are in fact what's going on.
I mean, as you see right here, I mean, when the Wake Forest players make contact with him, you can see the back of his head. So I mean, the helmet's completely off by this
off
point
now. Yeah.
So again, at the end of the day, it's an unfortunate play, and so
I think to the point I think you're going to.
Please.
I think I don't know if it makes sense to where you got to do, like make it a rule that the chin strap, because you do sometimes see like a chin strap will be unbuckled on, especially on quarterbacks for whatever reason.
Yeah.
I have seen that. But maybe it's just hey, if you don't have all your stuff tightened down, it's a penalty, like a 5-yard, 10-yard, whatever you want to make it. They're trying to make this game safer, and I get it. Like you have to make the game safer, especially for skill position guys where they're more exposed. So I don't know if that's the fix. I know nowadays when they do these helmet fits, they're scanning their heads. And the technology for getting good fitting helmets is tenfold from what even if it was 10, 15 years ago. They're doing 3D images of these guys' heads and then taking the helmets based off of their shape and size to then, put it in. Because I remember when I played football, you had the padded helmets and they put the air pump in the back of it to pump up the little pockets. Like, those days are gone. I mean, it's in there. And so there's no reason why a helmet should come flying off unless it's one of 2 things. 1, not properly buckled in, or 2, he just got hit so dang hard that it popped his helmet off. Like, those are really the only 2 reasons why a helmet should come off. Or the helmet fails. Because remember, I think it was last year or year before when Mahomes' helmet cracked. Part of it was so cold, but again, he had his head down. So those are things where that's the only time you should see these type of things happen, in my opinion.
Agreed. Yeah, no, I mean, again, it's just something which, I mean, again, I'm not an expert, so I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and say like this is what caused it. But from when I was watching the replay, that was something that really stood out to me, being like, like it wasn't the player in front of him's contact that caused the helmet to come off. The helmet was already coming off by the time the main 2 guys here from Wake Forest made contact with him. Now, as you can see right here, clear as day, that the Wake Forest players had their helmet, crown of their helmets,
especially the guy
right at him.
especially the guy head on.
Aimed right at him for sure. So, definitely, I'm not sure if technically this was reviewed, but I mean every single play is reviewed, especially for targetings,
Yeah,
or
allegedly.
allegedly, exactly. So, but I mean, I would assume that if a player's helmet literally gets knocked off from a hit and is carted off the field, I would highly expect that they would look at that play. But
Because there's
again,
so much
we don't
time.
know.
There's so much time in
Exactly.
between it to where you could probably look at it multiple times, if you
Oh, for sure.
if you kind of had that inclination about it.
Yep. Now, I
Because I
do
thought
wanna
this hit I'm sorry, go ahead.
what well, no, go ahead.
I mean, this hit was way more vicious than the guy that got ejected earlier in the drive.
Oh, for sure.
And so you're thinking, okay, well, that was target, and that was clearly targeting, by the way. Like there was, like for Clausen to
Oh,
argue
yeah.
that,
Oh, yeah.
ridiculous,
Oh,
ridiculous.
completely.
But this was more violent and egregious. I didn't get to see it until it was posted on Twitter,
Yeah,
because they didn't show it anywhere, especially in the stands.
for sure. They
But
shouldn't have.
but you
Yeah.
could no, but you
Mhm.
could tell because I was watching it, and you could tell his body just went limp from the hit.
Yeah. Oh,
I
he
mean,
was out.
he was done. He was
Yep.
knocked out cold.
Yep. And I mean, and we'll talk about it here, but I wanna kind of talk, 1 or 2 more things here about this hit, and then we'll kind of talk about the results of this hit and the overall thoughts of the hit, things like that as well. But, kind of going on Michelle's point right here, saying not ruling the play dead when a player is obviously unconscious on the field needs to change. So 2 things. 1, I want to point out, if you watch number 45 right here, the guy that's really right beside Grayson, watch his feet.
He stepped on him, it looked like.
It's close. He was close. Like right
Yeah,
here. Hold on. Watch when Peak pushes him. He almost steps on him with his left foot.
yeah.
Woo, man, that was
Well,
close.
number
He
9 if
almost
you go
stepped
back
on his
to, it
head.
looked like, either 17 or 9 almost stepped on him too on the backside.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
I see that
9.
right there.
Yeah,
Yeah, let's watch number 9 right here too. Which, by
yeah.
the way, if you're listening today, not watching, go back and watch. Ooh, yeah.
I
But
don't think
even
he
worse is that number
yeah.
45. He was
Mhm,
close. Like even how he
mhm.
jumped after he steps down. You see that? How he
Yep,
kind of bends away, like ooh. But
yeah.
here's my other thing too, which I'm not crazy about. Again, I get at the end of the day, it's a big play, but I'm not necessarily crazy about the fact that not a single Wake Forest player like when like, oh, like what just happened? Like all of them are just focused on taking the ball to
Yeah,
the end zone. But
I don't have so much it's a live
I
ball.
know.
I don't have any
Well, again,
anything with it.
I just said I'm just not crazy about it,
I
but
know,
it
but
but then
unfortunately, you have
yeah.
3 or 4 state guys looking
Mhm.
out for their guy, as they should, and so now they're out of
Mhm.
the play, and granted, they're linemen, so they're probably not gonna catch this guy anyway, but,
Right. Well, and
you know,
shout out to Noah Rogers too, by the way, though, for
holy
going
cow.
90 yards down the field to stop the touchdown that would have happened that was gonna happen anyway. So,
Yeah,
but the thing about not ruling the play dead when a player is obviously unconscious on the field, here's my thing is like, yeah, because I mean, first of all, again, I wasn't there live, but I mean, from the amount of people that were around Grayson by the time they panned
mhm,
over to him, like it
mhm.
was clear as day that obviously everybody was running out to him well before the play was even over,
Yeah,
which, yeah,
if I could just
right.
jump in since I was there. Yeah, the medical
Please,
staff was already on the field during the play, was still alive. I
and
think
rightfully so.
oh,
Good.
1000%. Yeah, I mean, someone's health
Mhm.
comes, you know
Way before a
I
football
will
game.
say I'm
Mhm.
glad too that there wasn't a penalty called for that because that would have just been the worst because, you're not supposed to have coaches and all that on the field during play. So I'm so thankful they didn't even tack that nonsense on too. But
Agreed.
yeah, I think by the time the player was probably around the 30-yard line, you could see medical staff and there was probably man, there must have been 5 or 6 people already out there on the scene,
Mhm.
attending to him,
Yeah,
which was phenomenal. Just the fact that they had the wherewithal just be like, "Oh, crap," they're behind the bench, behind the
right,
players, so for them to get out there that quickly was pretty amazing to see, so shout out to them.
for
Um,
sure.
I know they cut Grayson's jersey, and, there are some other rumors out there, and I don't wanna share those without it
Yep,
being true, but
yep.
it was super scary, super, super scary.
Yep. And I mean, so kind of getting down to it. Let us know what y'all think, what you think in the chat. But do you think, Greg, that they should add a rule that if a player is clearly unconscious, that you blow the play dead right then and there?
If the referees can see it, because the play was so quick, everybody's following the ball, and I'm not even sure that, just kind of trying to remember, I'm not so sure that any of the officials even saw it because they were following the live play. So I don't know how you can enforce that. if you will. Because it kind of used to be I thought it was a rule back in the day that, if the player's helmet came off, it was like the ball carrier, then the play was dead. But I'm pretty sure they changed that to where now, if your helmet comes off, you're now ineligible to participate in the play. Because remember that Miami game where the guy had his helmet ripped off. I don't remember who it was from State, and I apologize, but his helmet was ripped off during the play, which should have been a penalty. And then the punt returner fumbles it, and then he recovers it, and then it becomes not only a penalty on us, or it's going to be no recovery, but then a penalty on top of it.
Right. Yeah. I mean, so I've kind of brought up hockey, a few times before, being I was a former hockey referee, played hockey since I was 7 years old. So I've been around the game for a long time. And I know in hockey, basically, if there's an injured player, unless it is a immediate scoring opportunity,
right,
you call the play dead. Now, a couple reasons for that. First and foremost, that I think the idea is that if there's a scoring opportunity, that means that the play is in a spot where hopefully where basically more than likely the play is away from the injured player. First and foremost. But also too, because basically you want to blow the play dead immediately because of the size of the rink, that just a simple hit of the puck could shoot the puck right towards that injured player, which is obviously a huge danger concern. And then so anyway, so my point of it
basketball's the
here
same way though. Like they do the same thing in basketball for the most part. 'Cause remember the guy from I think it was South Carolina Upstate that had the medical emergency where he collapsed on the court, and I think it was a turnover, and then he collapsed, and then State had gotten the ball to like just past half court. They hadn't really advanced or anything, and then they blew the whistle dead. So there are, and some of it might just be referee / officiating discretion. There may not be a quote unquote a rule, but sometimes just common sense has to apply. And I think just because of the way that play progressed, that it was going to be a potential scoring play, they probably weren't going to blow it dead. Right, wrong, or indifferent.
Well, and I think it's kind of one of those things where it's kind of like the call when it comes to a player jumping off sides, where it's like if there's a shadow of a doubt of that the QB is going to get absolutely smoked, you blow it dead. But if that player immediately jumps back and it's like, okay, let's give them a free play, then do it. So I think in this situation here, it was kind of one of those things where like there wasn't any chance that any player was going to come in contact with Grayson. And also to the fact at the end of the day, they let the staff, whoever they needed to, get out on the field. Even though obviously, just like you said, any other time that'd be a clear all day, easy, point blank penalty. But the referees understood that the guy was unconscious. But also to it, that also doesn't, because of what's on the line as well, you kind of let the play finish just because it wasn't going to affect Grayson. There was going to be a player that's going to come in contact. There wasn't anything that was going to, prevent staff or medical personnel getting to him any quicker. So I get it, but it's also too, I understand a very tough situation. And I think honestly, it was one of those things that if the referee had blown it dead, at the end of the day, I don't Wake Forest, I'm sure would have a problem with it to a sort, but the human aspect's always going to come out, going to win, being like, listen, that guy was clearly as day from the moment he was hit out like a light. And so that's my hope on it. But I get it. And I think also too, kind of a little bit of it too, Greg, is kind of one of those things where it's like, we lost that game. So where's the areas where, if this would have gone our way, where we could have won, things like that as well.
Is a crucial play in the game.
Oh, well, because here's my other thing too. And another thing which I want to talk about is that honestly, Grayson was playing pretty darn well up until that point in that first drive.
He was having a good first drive. Yeah.
He was having a very good first drive. And I think it was
that was essentially probably a 14-point swing, because we were probably going to score a touchdown because of the way that drive was looking. At minimum 3, more than likely. But so it was at least a 10-point swing, but more than likely a 14-point swing.
Yep. Well, and one pack asked the question or puts a thought right here saying unpopular opinion, but this was not a good situation for McCall to be the hero. Call a pass. If it doesn't work, take 3 and tie it. My one point on this, Greg, and I'll let you go on that, is the guy's been playing football for a very long time. He's run a hundreds of thousands of plays. And I think there comes a point in this point in a football player's career where there's just so much instinct and there's also so much competitive edge to be like, I want to do what it takes to help my team win.
Yeah.
Now I understand that, there probably was a small, voice in his head, in Grayson's head, saying like slide, but there's also the other bigger voice in his head going, no, I want the first down, like, I'm 2 yards
It's a
away. I'm trying
bang
to get there.
bang. Yeah, it's a bang
Mhm.
bang instinctual play. I mean, you look, I'm not gonna criticize a player for trying to make a play.
Yeah.
He was giving effort, and at the end of the day, we thank these guys because I mean, you see one play, like, it can change the course of your life, and it's a dangerous sport, and
Yes, it is.
so for anyone that goes out there and puts the helmet on and, puts that jersey on that says NC State on the front, I got mad respect. It's not an easy thing to do. So, uh,
No,
like it's easy also to sit here on Monday evening and go, he should have slid.
sure.
In real time, it was 3rd and 11, he got 9. If he doesn't get smoked, here's the other thing too, man. Like, it was really frustrating is he had a guy on the left where if he makes a move, he hit a defender on the left out on the flat. If he makes a move on that guy, he's probably scoring. He had one guy to
Right.
beat, and so he went up the middle instead of breaking it out. Um, yeah, it's just tough, man. It's tough. I feel for him. He by by all accounts, he's a guy who was coming back from injury. He's trying to give it his all in his final year. He may or may not had a career moving forward in the NFL. He's just trying to play a game he loves, and I just can't fault. I can't. It's easy, They're getting some money, yes, but it's not life changing money. Just
For
trying to make a
sure.
play, just
That's
effort,
right.
just effort.
Yep. And one pack clarifies saying no, not criticizing Grayson's effort. I'm saying coach staff should put
Yeah,
more emphasis on safety going into the game. Yeah, well, and I guarantee you that they had that conversation with them. But at the end of the day, per Doran, and again, I mean, if I were Doran, after that game on Sunday, I would have gone and reached double check everything from the medical side, being like, did we miss anything? And because obviously we need to make sure that
there's
we
no
didn't
way
miss
they're gonna
anything
put
here.
him
But
out there, like, without
exactly,
going
no,
through all the
exactly,
protocols. I mean,
exactly,
they're just not,
yeah,
because it would only take for that to get out to be like the coaching staff forced him to play, and
right,
then you will never get another quality player.
nope,
You won't. No
nope,
parent wants to send their kid into that kind of situation where the coaches
hmm
aren't going to take care of their kids. There's just not. And
and
by all accounts, everyone player wise, I've never really heard anything except for that one crazy guy that was stalking Coach Doran a couple years ago that has really
yep.
had anything negative to say about either the coach or the staff or the program as a whole.
Exactly, and if there was anything done shadily, then every single medical staff, every single coach staff would they have a job,
Well,
so it's
here's
just
the other thing. Grayson McCall can tell him, "No, I'm not going out there." I mean,
right.
I mean, they're not putting a gun to his head.
No, nope,
Like,
but again, like, huge shout out to Grayson though, and I mean, again,
that dude's a
and and and
baller,
and
dude.
and
Mad
huge shout out
respect.
to Grayson, and us too. I mean, listen, in any just like Greg said, any question about Coach Dorn, about the coaching staff's intentions, about what the medical staff missed, like, no, I
No way.
guarantee you,
No way.
I promise you that, I mean, on the Tuffy Talk account, on everything, like that, all the proper protocols were checked, and at the end of the day, once they're checked, it's up to Grayson
Mhm.
and the coaching staff. They want to put him back out there,
Yeah,
and
because at the end of the day, the player does have the final say. There's been plenty of times
yes,
where, they're medically cleared, but the player just doesn't feel it, right? Or they'll go out and do pregame warmups and, they just like, I feel like I can't go, and they'll pull themselves out. It's a thing. It happens all the time. And a
yep,
lot of times we don't know about it because we're not privy to it.
yep, aka Antonio Brown, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, right?
You know what? You shut your mouth right now.
Anyway, man. All right, Wolfpack Nation, real quick. I want to get to some, of course, my my computer's lagging over here, but
Okay.
let's get to some Tuffy's mailbag here, real quick. If I can bring up first one here again. Sorry, y'all. My computer is being very laggy today. Um, but Give me one more second here. First of all, Greg, got to give a shout out. Moving on to Syracuse, wear black. You know, hey, listen, it's gonna be a night game. It's we'll get into it here in a minute, but
We definitely have to talk about that because people are already losing their minds on social media about it.
oh, for sure. So
Always.
first question coming in here from Michelle, actually, who is doing the offensive play calling? And I mean, I think Greg, this kind of question comes up because Doran even mentioned it, or Doran even admitted, I think it was during the Tennessee game potentially, I think it was, where he called a few of the offensive plays. And so, I mean, do you still feel like that Doran has his hand in the cookie basket when it comes to calling offensive plays?
Yeah, I definitely think there's things where um I don't know about specific plays, but he might say like, okay, I want to run, you know, if I go out run first down, if we get this amount of yards, then we'll, potentially go into this or this and that. I don't know if he's actually calling this specific play, but he's probably telling him, hey, I want to go bleed the clock. So like just keep the ball in bounds. If you're gonna throw something safe. I think it's gonna be those. I don't know if it's specifically play calling. I just don't know. I don't want to speculate about it.
Yeah.
It wouldn't surprise
Yeah.
me though. I mean, he's the head coach. He gets the final. He's the head cheese. He gets the final decision making. So if that's what
Oh,
he
yeah.
wants, would it surprise me? No, it wouldn't surprise me.
No. Yeah, no, I mean, I guarantee you that, especially in a situation where the offense just isn't anywhere near where it needs to be, that his hand's 100% in front of it because, again, I mean, just like he says every single time after losses, it all falls on me.
Mhm.
So at the end of the day, he's gonna have a part of the say because at the end of the day, if the ship goes down, he's going down first, with it. You know what I mean? So,
Mhm.
100%. But I mean, Chilton says it right there, but I mean, definitely, I'm not understanding whatsoever. Unfortunately, Greg, this offensive play calling a little bit, specifically the use of Kevin Concepcion with all these screenplays, 2 or 3 yards behind the line, like his
Yeah.
app, like I think, and I have the PFF right here, but I think he had like 6 catches for 22 yards,
Mhm.
something like that. Like just I'm just not getting it. And you know what, we in the first half we had almost 300 yards of total offense, and then we had 127 yards combined in the second half alone. So
Yeah.
I just don't understand how you can come out of halftime and look way worse offensively than you did in the first half. I just don't get it.
KC has the lowest average per reception on the team at just
Yeah.
under 8 yards per reception,
Yep.
though he leads the team in receptions.
Right. It's almost like it's almost like an NFL, where you've seen those plays, with like Gronk, for example, where it's like, hey, Tom, I need one more catch to get that $1 million bonus, man. It's like they're trying to get like KC the like
Yep.
as if you win the opposite. I need at least this many receptions in order
Yep.
for me to be happy or something like that.
Mhm.
That's what it just seems like. Like it's just not Casey's game, as we have easily figured out through 6 games. It's just not his game,
Yep.
or I think any player's game to catch the balls 3-4 yards behind a one or two receivers that are blocking for him. It just has not worked through 6 games. Don't get it.
Yeah, I mean, they even tried to get him involved in the running game this game a little bit more. You saw
Right.
that. You hadn't really seen that wrinkle to that effect that he had 4 rushes for 16 yards. That might because I know they do that stupid push pass, which is essentially a run, but it does count as a pass.
Right.
But this was 4 true runs. I'm pretty sure that's his high for this year. If I had to
Yeah.
kind of just jump at it, but
Yeah.
you look at the stats, like we as a team, we were really good as a team for the most part. We
Yep.
were 8 of 15 on third down. That's over 50%. You'll take that. Especially when you hold them to 3 of 11. The killer was the fourth downs, the 3 of 3. And we kind of talked about that earlier. In those last 2 drives, they converted all those fourth downs, and you go make a play, the game's over.
Yep.
Again, you alluded to it earlier. It's killing us is the run game. We're 131st in the country in running. I
Yep.
think there's only 129 teams.
Yep. Well, especially too when honestly I can make
Missed the joke.
I
You missed
know, especially when you thought there's only 122 teams. I get
Yeah. Yeah, we're that bad. We're
well,
that bad.
and I mean, I really do want to jump to the point where, like, I, first of all, I don't understand what's going on with Hollywood's mothers. Again, like, Dorn hasn't said anything. We didn't see anything. It just doesn't make sense there. But
Mhm.
also the fact that honestly, I can say pretty easily that through 6 games, Kendrick Raphael's been your best running back.
I at this point, he's got the most tape and the most.
Yep.
Yeah, he has been. He's been your guy that has been everything. He's been your running back. He's been your receiver out of the backfield. He has been that guy.
Yep.
And then that's the other thing. Like we did have some crucial drops on Saturday. The KC drop, that was a good pass. I think Kendrick had a drop that was crucial. It just
Terrell
came out.
Anderson, Kendrick, Casey, and Jordan Waters all had each one drop, so 4 drops altogether.
Yeah, I think it was the. I don't remember. Who did you say it was? It was Waters, Kendrick, Casey, and who was the other one?
Terrell Anderson.
Yeah, I don't remember his drop, so I can't remember how crucial that one was. But I do remember, like all 3 of the drops, there were going to be big gains. They were going to be big plays, potential splash plays, and again, we talked about it at the beginning. You're just not making the enough plays to win ball games when at this point the margin of error is just not good. It's just you go score 30 points, you expect to win a ball game.
Right. Well, and the one point too, because everybody's right now in the chat talking about the conservative play calling, is that if you go back and look at the play-by-play, we scored the Justin Jolie touchdown, then Wake Forest comes back, scores a touchdown, then we go 3 and out, and then Wake Forest scores a touchdown, and then 1 play interception, game over. So I really don't put this a ton on the offense just because of the fact that it was really only 1 drive that didn't go well. And was it conservative? Yes, but if we had 2 or 3 drives in a row that was very conservative, then that might be one thing. But I just can't help but come out of this game saying, listen, defense, you had 3 chances specifically where it was 4th down, aka it is 1 play that decides it, aka 1 play, 1 batted pass, 1 tackle, 1 sack, and game's over. And 3 different times Wake Forest outplayed us. And that's honestly the biggest frustration to me. Go ahead, Greg.
Yeah, it's not so much that it was that you didn't score on that 3 and out. It's the fact that you went 3 and out and only burned 1:36 off the clock. Where if you just go out and get a 3-minute drive, just give me 3 to 4 minutes. Give your defense a rest, because that was the other thing, right? You get 7 plays, you get a touchdown, so you had just under a 4-minute drive. Great. And then your defense goes out and has to play 9 plays for 4.5 minutes. Then you go punt, and then they're right back on the field again for 13 plays. 13 plays in over 6 minutes. They're just gassed. Like, help your defense. Like when you get those 2 turnovers, you did nothing. You had 4 plays, 3 yards, and then you had the interception. You had 3 plays, 5 yards. Just nothing there. Just you got to play complementary football. You have to. Everyone has to pick up each other.
Agreed. And now I do have a problem with how and I've always talked about this, about how the offense came out of the second half, and just like you said, in 3 combined drives, you had 10 total yards of offense. That's absolutely disgusting, especially just like when you said, Wake Forest 2 drives back to back, turn the ball over. So that's just
where's your halftime adjustments?
Where's your halftime adjustment?
You should come out there and put something together. You got 20 minutes in the locker room. You got the ball. You had some momentum. You get a field goal at the end of the half.
Yep.
Go. Like you could have. I don't know. It's just frustrating because you look at all these stats again. Like I said, you did your thing other than the turnovers, because that's what kind of hurt us. Just the penalties were basically even. The turnovers were even, but it was just the timeliness and what you did with the turnovers. We didn't score off of our turnovers. They did. Bailey played all right, other than the interception at the end, where I don't know. I just don't know what he was doing with it. But he's a true freshman. Like, that's what you're going to do. You're going to have your ups and downs with your true freshman.
Right.
You would have preferred to have that interception in the second quarter.
Yep, I agreed. And One Pack said it best: if you converted 3 points just on one of those 2 turnovers, then it's probably a completely different ball game. And I mean, yeah, technically we lost by 4, so you say, well, 3 points doesn't matter, but in the sake of mentality from Wake Forest side, would that move the needle at all? So, yeah, no, agreed. But yeah, I mean, and Carson brings up a great point as well, which in my opinion, I completely agree. I thought this was the offensive line's best game so far this season.
In what aspect? Overall, or it wasn't in run blocking? I mean, we ran for 100 yards.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't phenomenal run blocking wise, but I mean, pass wise, I mean,
No,
I
they were
thought they did a great
fantastic.
job
Yeah.
protecting for sure.
Yeah.
Gave CJ, great pocket, and even during Grayson's,
Mhm.
drive as well. They protect him. Really, nobody even put a hand on him. So, now I do want to get to Gabe's point right here about fire Dave ASAP. So I'll tell it to you straight right now. The only way Doran will not be the head football coach, the only way Dave Doran will not be the head football coach next
Ooh,
year
can I
is
guess?
if.
Can I guess?
Yeah, what is it?
There's a scandal.
Well, that
That's the
or
only. What
or
else? Give me
or
it. What do you think?
he retires.
Yeah, it's true.
Which is always mean, he's always talked about
Mhm.
retiring at a decent age and going and open up his tackle and bait shop. And but I'm also sitting here saying, hey, listen, he's got and I'll lay it out for you. He's signed through the 2029 season, so
Mhm.
through 2029 into 2030, and right now he's making $5.5 million annually, and he's guaranteed an additional $125,000 raise each season, which will cause him to make $6 million in 2028 and $6.125 million in 2029. So, meaning that if you were to buy him out right now after the season, you would owe him probably north of $30 million.
Yeah, it was 27.
So,
It was 27, I think, when I looked at the numbers.
yeah. So, I mean, it just now, I mean, here's my other thing too, and Greg, and this is kind of the head scratchers. Again, 9 months ago, we were talking about Dave Doran being an ACC Coach of the Year. With the turnaround he had, and all he went through with the MJ, Brian Armstrong, Philosophy, whatever the word is,
Philosophy, yeah.
philosophy
You're talking about fiasco.
fiasco. Thank you,
There
appreciate
you
it.
go. Yeah, no worries.
So, but I do agree that listen, it's. If we're 6-6 at the end of this season with all the money and all the talent that we have on this field, I'm not gonna be very happy at all for sure. But it's just
So can
like
I?
again, but what can we do again? Because we just can't pay a coach $30 million to
He
get out
could
of a
be Mike
contract.
Norvell.
Well, in terms of what having one player,
Just what he's getting paid and results. That's
like I can't do what he, yeah.
yeah.
Well, yeah.
Other
I mean,
than Norvell has an ACC championship, so I guess
ex-
maybe that's again it comes full circle, right? Um,
agreed.
I'm just looking at some of the just off script here. Talk. I don't need to talk about Dave. He's not going anywhere. He's just
No,
not.
no.
I just don't think you're going to get people hyped up to do his buyout. So unless he leaves on his own free will, he's not
Yep.
going anywhere. And so
Yep.
you can look. I don't typically like this word, but you can bitch, moan, and complain all you want. But he's not. He's just not.
He's
At
just
least not for
not.
another year or two. Like I said,
And
unless you said he retires or there's some kind of scandal, which I don't see that happening either. So all
yep.
you Dave haters out there, he's not. He's just not going anywhere.
Well,
He's not.
and Gabe,
Would you leave
saying
$27 million?
what? No, exactly. I mean, well, here, let's put it this way: if it was so mentally, just
Right.
just putting myself in a spot where it's like, listen,
Yeah.
I'm just not enjoying it anymore.
Right. Your
And I
mental
mean,
health.
he's made enough money that
Yeah.
he can walk away and be just fine for the rest of his
Yeah.
life. He doesn't
1000%.
need the money.
No, he's got
So
generational money
yeah,
for him and his family. So
exactly. So,
at
but
this
I
point,
do
he's
agree
doing
as well. It's like it, and Gabe saying don't compare Dave to any coach who's won actual championships.
that's
Here's my
fair.
immediate. I get that, but also too, I'm saying that Florida State with the history and the tradition the Florida
The
State program
money.
has, the money that is involved. I mean, dude, all the money that we think as NC State fans we send, which again, if you split out the amount of money that's involved in the state program per alumni / true NC State fan, like yeah, it'd be a bit, but I mean,
Here's
Florida
the thing:
State's
our
just got
complete NIL for all of our sports doesn't equal what Florida State's playing for their football.
exactly agreed. So it's just there's just a difference. And also too, Norvell saying, he's getting $9 million per year. We can't afford to pay a coach $9 million per year. It's just not quite there for us, really. I mean, even $5.5 million is a good bit more than what we've seen other head coaches get paid in NC State's history. And that's just because at the end of the day, I mean, you're sitting here saying Dorn's 23-11 against the ACC in the last 4 seasons. He's the all-time winningest head coach in NC State history, and he's had 9 win seasons 3 of the last 5 years. It's just listen, he's raised the floor. Now, I've talked about it before that I'm really concerned about what the true ceiling is that Dorian could bring us, but it's just it's just not enough to say I'm going to pay $30 million to buy this guy out. It's just not enough. It's just
Who's going to do it? Who's coming up with the $30 million?
Yep, exactly right.
Anybody in the chat writing a check? I don't think so. And I'm not saying anyone is, everyone's calling for their hit. But if you're on social media, especially over an overreaction Monday or overreaction Sunday or an overreaction Saturday afternoon after a game, like it's out there. And I get it. Like we're in year 12 of the Dave Doeren tenure, and what do we have to show for it, right? And I get the arguments. I do. But at the end of the day, walks. So unless people are putting up $27 million, he's your coach.
Yep. Nope. And one back saying if FSU and NC State played right now, FSU would win. Let's put this way. I was gonna say I have no interest in watching that game. Let's put it that way. That's just disgusting football all around right now. So
yeah. But I mean, Florida State's averaging 2.2 yards per rush.
Yeah, it's bad. And I mean, does DJ Uiagalelei truly have a finger injury right now? I guess so, but I don't know, man. It's just bad right now in both areas, both programs right now. So, but anyway, so jumping on to question number 2.
Oh, geez, we got another one.
I do. I know we're supposed to.
Not happening.
Should we change up our defensive scheme because of his lack of success so far? Exactly. I mean, Greg. I mean,
you're not Tony Gibson in the middle of the season.
No, and I mean, and Doran's made it perfectly clear that no, it's just it's worked through many years right now at States. It's just like no, it's just, and also too because here's my thing, I would get it if we had like 4 or 5 just stud defensive linemen, and it's like, listen, we need to get more pressure. We need to highlight our defensive linemen more. But I mean, unfortunately, we've like Greg, we've only had 3 defensive linemen get a sack so far, and only 1 defensive lineman has more than 1 sack so far through 6 games. Like defensive line is just not strong right now. They're just not.
Well, and again, if you're on social media, you hear everyone saying, how can we just find another year of eligibility for Peyton Wilson?
Holy smokes.
The linebackers, because you had that elite level of talent, and I think some of it's just a talent issue at this point. I don't think it's coaching. I don't think it's anything other than I just don't think we evaluated the talent hopefully the way we wanted to. And I just nothing against the linebackers that are there, the defensive linemen. They were just those 3 linebackers that we had, and we talked about it a couple of weeks ago. They were just NFL talent, and so if you don't have that same elite NFL talent that you bring back to plug those holes, yes, there's going to be a drop off. There's going to be a drop off, and we were so spoiled. I mean, just think about like the linebackers in the last 10 years that we've had. Jermaine Pratt, you had Isaiah, you had Drake, you had Peyton. There's probably a few more that I'm missing that are there. And then you had defensive line guys. You had, the one year we had pretty much everyone drafted on the defensive line. You got guys that are like Katavius Street. He's still in the NFL. You have James Williams Smith, right? Is that his name?
James Smith Williams.
James Smith Williams. Yeah, thank you. He's in the NFL. You have BJ Hills in the NFL. You have tons of guys that are in the NFL right now. We just don't have those guys. And so I don't think it's so much that it's the player's fault. It just might be talent evaluation. Maybe we need to just kind of look at some of this and just take a step back and just get some good complementary players. Because I think because you had Caden Fordham, like you had the guys that at linebacker last year, but they weren't having to play the role. They were in a supporting cast. And so I think that is a big thing when you have these guys having to step up. And then here's the other thing. I think we have good captains, right? But they're not the rah vocal kind of guys.
I didn't see them.
From what I hear.
I haven't seen any of them besides Devin Van. That's all I'm saying. I haven't seen any of them.
Yeah. And shout out to him, by the way, for all the stuff that he was doing last week. And I don't know if we have
we do.
At this point, I'm just glad that. Go ahead. Yeah.
Well, you're just glad that what? Go ahead, please finish that thought.
We're winning off the field. Like, just again, some things are bigger than the games. And so
agreed.
It's, again, we are blessed to be able to go on a Saturday afternoon in Raleigh and be able to watch a football game at this point.
Amen. Absolutely. 100%. Got to always put that in perspective.
Yeah.
I want to highlight 3 comments and kind of answer kind of one thought here that is kind of point out here from these 3 comments. Hunter saying, it makes me wonder if Dave made Tony play prevent crap late, talking about the last 2 drives. Michelle saying, then keep the scheme and call plays to your strengths. And One Pack saying, how many times can you call blitz before you guys are gassed?
Well, the blitz was working. Like we got to them. Whether if it was a negative play, whether we got a sack or we got a fumble or whatever. The 2 plays we didn't blitz, they scored.
I mean, let's put it this way. Right now, Greg, there's not one single piece on defense I'm like, well, at least we got that. Like at least this is our strength.
I mean, I do like our safeties. I think we got really good safety play.
Who got mossed by the Wake Forest player? Like, you got to make that play, bud. You got to make that play.
Yeah, when you have 2 guys there, you do.
You need to make
that. There's definitely a height advantage there. Our guys aren't the tallest, so that was he went and high pointed the ball and made a play. Good for him. Yeah,
agree.
I get it.
No, but again, I do agree with you to the point that of all the positions, the safeties have played the best so far this season for sure. But it's just like, here's the thing: when you're blitzing like that, you got to do either 2 things. You need to get to that QB ASA, like you need to get to that QB like on the snap, or 2, you need to have your coverage lock those guys down. And unfortunately, we just have not been able to do when we've blitzed, it's not been immediate. It's taken a second to finally to get there, but also too as well, like on that 4th and 5, like whoever, I think it was Morsell, just got beat and one-on-one. And it's just like, when you're all out blitz like that, you got to lock down for 3 seconds. So
yeah, and part of our scheme, I mean, you're not going to get a ton of sacks from your D line. If you look, we had 3 sacks on Saturday and 2 of them were from linebackers.
Yeah.
So you're going to have that. And again, to your point, if you're not getting to the quarterback and you're blitzing, especially 2, because a lot of times we were sending 2 guys, right? So, send more than they can block.
Yep.
If you're not getting home, you're putting your secondary guys on an island, and you'll hope that they hold tight.
Agreed. So, real quickly as well, I want to give a huge shout out to our sponsor, by the way, too, who can shut things down with a Coney Gold for sure. Small batch barbecue, Shaw and rubs. Always got my Coney Gold dust ready to go, and got one in the pantry, always ready to use on. My wife and I, we eat salmon once a week, and I always throw a Coney Gold on salmon. Which you're like, really, a barbecued rub on salmon? I'm telling y'all again. I've said it before. Again, all your shrimp, chicken, pork, meat, whatever you got, whatever meat you have, throw a Coney Gold dust on it. It'll absolutely take it to a new height. I can promise you that. Go ahead, Greg. What you got?
I got a new hat. That's what I got. Look at this one.
Ooh, look at that.
My hat's better than yours.
I'm a fan. I'm not gonna lie. I am a fan.
Look at that one.
That's good. I like it.
James hooked me up the other day. My son took the camo one that you're wearing, and I said, you know what, I need a new hat, James. So he hooked me up and got me some fresh sauce. I'll be ready for this weekend's tailgate with Savage. It's gonna be a big tailgate. Yeah. I'm I tell you, I think this is like 3 tailgates in a row. We've done the wingy and the white. Oh, it's so good. Like I normally switch my wings up. I haven't switched them up. They're so good. So
Good.
good.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, I'm telling y'all right now again, go use that link in the description down below and use the code Tuffy Talk to get 15% off your entire order, y'all. And I can promise you and I can guarantee you that whether you get the rub, whether you get the Carolina Red, which is their vinegar-based barbecue
It's really good
sauce,
too.
which is delicious, or just like you said, getting that white gold with the wingy sauce, combine it together. So delicious, y'all. Make sure to go and check that out.
I haven't had a bad one yet. I haven't had
That's
I mean, there's nothing bad, so whatever your taste buds are into, just go
Nope.
get it, man. Go get it.
Yep. Mustard, spicy,
Mhm. Mhm.
vinegar, whatever you want. Hunter even saying, "I need to try this rub,
Yeah,
fellas."
man.
Hunter, I'm telling you, man.
Especially
I
Hunter,
look.
I be seeing what you be cooking, bro. You
I
need some of
know.
that rub in your life.
Yep.
Hunter makes me jealous. Like, every time I log on to Twitter, he's eating something good. So,
Yep.
like, you need to get some of that in your life.
Agreed. Now, I know that we want to talk more football here for sure, but we
Do we
do need
have
to talk
to?
about some. I know, but we got to talk a little bit about other things as well as
Yeah,
there's so much good going on in NC State
there is.
besides just the football side for sure. But again, we'll talk a little bit more football here, so stay tuned. But just we're going to kind of move through this here a little bit more. The last Tuffy's mailbag question saying, "What is the next NC State sport that we will find postseason success?" So, I mean, Greg, what I guess I'll kind of ask this as what is the next
What's left?
well yeah, right.
I
I
mean, we
mean,
had
so
a pretty good year last year. So
I mean,
are
well,
we talking something that hasn't had success recently?
men's soccer.
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
men's soccer will.
Carson hit it right when you were saying it. Yeah,
Yep, Carson,
I
men's
think I
soccer.
think we're on the verge there. Volleyball still trying to get that breakthrough.
Yep,
Here's the thing, man. When we expanded the ACC, we brought some really good volleyball teams in.
yes, we
With
did.
Stanford and Cal, and then of
Yep,
course Pitt, Louisville. Like, there's some really good volleyball. So that's an uphill battle.
yep,
Um, yeah, I would just have to think it would have to be men's soccer. I
yep,
think I think softball has a chance to kinda break through this year. I really
mhm,
do.
yep,
If not this year, definitely next year. I mean, we've had gymnastics success in the postseason with ACC, wrestling, women's basketball, men's basketball,
yep,
baseball. There's cross country. There's
yep.
really just not any more sports that hasn't had that success lately.
Well, so that's
Tennis has
why
had
I
some postseason. Oh, by the
yeah,
way, shout out, we didn't even talk about it last week, the 2 NC State women's that won the doubles national, uh,
right.
tournament, like, a couple weeks
Mhm,
ago, so shout out to them. I don't
yep,
have their information in front of me, but they just won, some postseason,
yep.
or preseason the tennis is weird. It's a weird.
It is so weird,
So,
and I can't keep up with their schedule.
nah, too much. Anyway,
Yeah.
so
But yeah, I mean, I think that men's soccer is the obvious one because first of all, I think it's the next one that's
yeah,
gonna, in terms of postseason, that's gonna begin. But also too, because men's soccer really hasn't broken through in terms of having success for a long
continued,
time.
yeah, yeah. Sustained, actually,
And
is
but
probably
now
a
with
better word.
Mark Hubbard, I mean, I'm really, really excited about what this team's gonna do here in the postseason. At least make a little bit of noise, not necessarily saying they're gonna win the ACC this year, but I think they're gonna make some noise. And you can't sleep on them for sure. You can't look past
Yeah.
them. So uh with that being said, I want to move on here if my computer will let me. Let's get to some tweets of the week. Well, actually, here, let me highlight
Yeah.
a couple of
Mhm.
comments here. So Carson saying volleyball plays Duke and UNC this weekend, and then they play 4 straight road games. I mean, that's the crazy thing too, is that they're coming off of a road trip going all the way to Stanford and Cal, and then coming back and playing 2 huge in-state rivalry games. So,
I
I
do
mean, what
like
a
how they
stretch
do
for
those
volleyball.
West Coast swings, though, like, so they don't have
Agreed.
to do it multiple times. So if you're gonna have to go do that, at least they do a swing and then come back.
Agreed. 100%. All right, let's jump on over some tweets of the week, y'all.
Wait, what is this? Oh, mental health.
Sorry, my computer is going all kinds of wonky right now, but yeah, Hunter, we'll talk about the future of softball here in a second for sure. But oh, Michelle even saying I'll be at both volleyball matches this weekend. That's awesome.
Alright,
You
let's
go,
go.
You go, Michelle. And we need more people there. We need more
Yeah.
people sporting the pack for sure this
Right,
weekend.
we kinda needed to have that build up that wrestling had. Like, it took a few years,
Yep.
and then now you're starting to now it's a great thing, but go ahead.
Absolutely. Real quick, I want to give a shout out to Instate Athletics, who this is a mental health awareness week. really kind of advertising the opportunities out there for anybody who needs help, whether it's an advisory council, department of mental health, even on campus as well. Obviously, I don't have to bring up, how NC State, we've struggled with obvious mental health issues, and on campus and all that. And the biggest thing, which I can't say enough, is that we love you all for sure, and and that we have your back, Wolfpack Nation. We're all one big family, and it's just nothing that there's nothing I want more than for those issues to stop, for those issues to come to an end. And so if you're a student, if you're a person in general and you need any kind of help, to talk through anything or help through a situation, please feel free to reach out to somebody. And just get the help that you need, y'all. We just hate to hear any member of Wolfpack Nation going through mental health issues like this. So
yeah, losing one is too many.
Exactly right. Exactly right. But got one pack in there mentioning it. So I'll go ahead and jump right to it here, as we actually have two different things with not only Davin Van and his family and what they've done with the Hurricane Relief Fund, and even extending into Friday, Thursday, and Friday pickups, and even pickups during the game, before the game itself. And all the impact that was made there, which is so phenomenal for sure, from Davin Van, his family, and all the players also too that helped him as well. But also too, shout out to Medios, who, which by the way, if you want to also help to support our people in the Western North Carolina, Medios is giving back 10% of all dine-in sales between October 7th and October 13th as a donation to Western North Carolina people. So hey, y'all, go check out Medios, and 10% of whatever you purchase will be given back to Western North Carolina. So it's a win-win. You get an awesome meal, awesome environment, and you get to also to make an impact. So make sure you go and check that out.
Yeah, I think that what everyone's done to come together for this.
Yes.
The coach 2J and his wife did a drive with their daughter Savannah, kind of just leading the charge on Twitter. You have, if anyone's on Twitter or X, excuse me, Wolfpack Karaoke. She ran out a bunch of stuff out to there. Chuck Coates with Durham Mission. What is it?
Rescue Mission.
Rescue Mission. Thank you. He and that organization have done great things. So there's just so many people out there that are just trying to make a difference for their communities. And I know there's more out there that I probably just haven't seen, but awesome job, everybody. And just let's keep it going, because guess what? This isn't a 1 week thing. It's going to take months and years for this to happen. So let's not lose focus and sight on taking care of our neighbors in need.
Absolutely. Amen. And Michelle,
and we raised like almost $800-900 last week, right?
We did, yeah. No, we brought the American Red Cross Fund all the way up to $800. So thank you all so much to everybody who went in as a part of the giveaway for the 2 tickets to help us raise money for the American Red Cross. So, but Michelle saying, looks like my daughter and I will be going back to Medios this weekend. Absolutely.
There we go. I will be going there myself. Don't give me a reason to go.
That's right. Amen. Real quick, listen, we can talk about the student section. We can talk about, the lackluster of it, late in the game, but listen, I mean, unfortunately, just just
give them a reason to stay, I guess. That's
exactly.
not probably the best way to say it.
Exactly.
Win
that game, and we're screaming at the TV right now saying, what the heck, in student section? Like, how can we be that light in a 3-point ACC game in the fourth quarter? But unfortunately, it's just unfortunately, just I can't say anything about it right now. Just like I would love to talk about UNC. I would love to talk about ECU, but I can't talk about it.
It sucks. I mean, these guys work I apologize. They work their asses off all year. They only get 7 opportunities to play in front of the students, and it's got to be a two-way street, right? And
exactly.
And so if the students just aren't into it for whatever reason, it's hard to keep an 18 to 21's attention span these days. It just is. They've got better things to do with their lives. It's not like it was in the 80s and 90s and even early 2000s, when people just kind of felt differently about going to games. Now it's a fashion show with all the ladies dressing up, and it's it's become a spectacle, and I think sometimes we lose sight of the actual game itself, even with me and the tailgating and
Sure.
yeah. So it's a thing.
Agreed. And I mean, here's my other thing too, Greg, which kind of leads to my frustration a little bit, but like, I just want to paint this picture real quick and imagine like in your wildest dreams that like, like Greg, if like we close our eyes right now and I told you
Mhm.
like in this calendar year, we've went to 2 Final Fours in basketball. We
Mhm.
won an ACC championship in basketball. We went
Yeah.
to the College World Series in baseball. Just
Yeah.
everything else included in around athletics, combined with the thought of NC State football winning an ACC championship and going to the college football playoffs on top of it, like this would have been arguably, if not inarguably, the greatest athletic calendar year,
Yep.
maybe in the history of college sports. I mean, the fact that you have 2 Final Fours, a College World Series, and an ACC championship college football playoff appearance
Yeah.
in football, like, and we were that close, you know what I mean? And it was set up for this to be that. So that's just, and also too on top of it, Greg, on top of it, that's just not us. On the UNC side, like they are just like figuring out what the heck is going on. Like
Yeah.
what was the Drake May and Sam Howell years even for? Is
Yeah.
Mac Brown even the guy? And then you look on the Duke side, and yes, they have a head coach, but they're going to be a revolving door of coaches that any single time they have a successful head coach, that
Yeah.
coach will not be there within 3 years, guaranteed. You look at the ECU side, and holy smokes, they got just steamboated by Charlotte
Houston
in
has not won.
Charlotte.
Houston has not beat a team from North Carolina yet at ECU.
Exactly. So I mean, just imagine, Greg. Imagine
Yeah.
like this crazy world that I would have never thought had been reality, but we were that close to having like the perfect storm that like NC State fans would just be like, oh, like this is not planet Earth. This is not reality. But
Yeah.
there's still a lot of good for sure. I mean, look at me, I'm wearing my Final Four shirt, right? Gotta. I mean,
Yeah.
there's still been so much good, but just like man, just that close to this perfect thing. Want to give a shout out as well to, I mean, we talked about, College World Series appearance and in-state baseball. Got to give a shout out as well, obviously in-state baseball season getting underway, or well, I guess the
Fall ball.
exhibition season, fall ball
Yep.
getting underway.
Yep.
So I want to ask your thoughts real quick, Greg. Obviously, I wasn't able to attend in person, and these things aren't televised, so I couldn't watch it. But
Yep.
I mean, heard some good stuff. A lot of guys were able to get action. But what were your
Yep.
thoughts on the game?
Yeah, a lot of young guys. So don't look at that score. It was so full disclosure, I had to leave after the 7th. They actually played, I think it was 12 innings. They
Right.
just kind
Yep.
of played an extended game.
Yep.
Go the pitching that I saw up until the 6th or 7th, I think that's when they scored. I think they scored 5 at that point, if I'm trying to remember correctly. But that pitched well. You had Heath Andrews through some. None of the regulars through 7 through, like, so any of our starters from last year, they didn't throw. A lot of, like I said, a lot of young guys. Really, the only regular from last year in the starting lineup for the exhibition was Luke Nixon. I'm just trying to go through all the
Mhm.
positions real quick in my head. Yeah, everyone else was new other than Alex. Alex Sosa did play behind the plate, so he technically counts, even though Kozart got most of the reps last year. I thought it was good. We had a couple home runs. That was how we got our 2 runs, so that was nice to see. Yeah, it's going to be a work. These are meant to get some guys some action, to see live reps, live bullets. I'm hopefully optimistic about what's gonna come down the pipe this spring when we get to the real games.
Yep. Oh yeah. No, I mean, again, it's exhibition, so just see what you got, and and especially just like you said, I mean, a lot of these star guys that we have, like the D Rock and the Dudan,
Yeah.
and those guys, just they're not in their proper rotation yet or
Well,
anything like that. Like it's
some of those
just
guys had thrown the day before, so they just weren't going to be
right.
scheduled to pitch. So I'll be curious to see. I know they play Wednesday, so maybe you'll see some of those guys this week at Doak.
Yep, maybe. So,
we'll see. But with that being said, we'll jump on as well over to another big piece of news. Once I could bring it up, and again, apologize for my computer being all laggy today. But in-state men's basketball with their commitment, y'all. Again, a huge 4-star commitment. From Wilkins, and super super excited about this guy that have heard raving reviews about. A guy in Wilkins who, uh, who really has been described as an all around player and somebody that I think can easily fit into kind of the athletic big that Keats loves to build around. And here's my other thing though too, Greg, as well. And this is something which I've been yearning for is I just feel like that these bigs that we've gotten as true freshmen have just not been able to pan out. Think about it. Every single big we've had for the last couple seasons that's played significant minutes has been a transfer. So, can we finally get a guy, develop him, and him stick around long enough to eventually work his way in? And I'm hoping with Wilkins that he's going to be that guy.
Yeah, it's real interesting for me for basketball with these one and dones, guys not even making it to campus from time to time. The transfer portal, it's just so active, and the rosters are so small. There's just a lot of turnover, so it's really hard to hit on someone and then for them to potentially stick around. But to your point, yeah, we've had some guys where we thought, we brought in, the last few years. I guess you can, Middlebrooks is a big guy, and then DJ, but they're not like centers. And I think that's the one thing that we haven't had, like a true big center. And again, basketball is just, other than that kid from Florida, holy cow, that dude that's 7'9". Have you seen that guy? I don't remember his name, but that dude.
Yeah.
You just don't have like traditional bigs anymore. You get their stretch guys, and so it would be nice to see this thing kind of just kind of go back to some old school. And I'm curious. I'm excited.
Agreed. But also too, another thing to get excited about as well is, I'm telling y'all right now, NC State softball is doing big things.
Cooking.
If you haven't checked out our interview yet with the number 5 overall recruit in the country, Maddie Smith, make sure to go and check that out, y'all, from the class 2026.
Yeah.
But also too, the announcement as well of Carson Norton, who's a top 55 player in the country in class 2026 as well, that also committed to NC State over this past weekend. And also too, over this past weekend, literally over the last 2 weekends, just to put it in perspective, Coach Leftwich and NC State softball has posted 5 top 100 recruits from the class 2026. 5 of the top 100 recruits for class 2026 have come to NC State over the last 2 weekends. Yeah. If that doesn't just kind of put everything in perspective,
it's freaking awesome.
Coach Leftwich is swinging for the fences right now, and it's working. She's connecting. Yeah, and she's connecting with them too. It's not like she's just swinging and hoping; like she's swinging and contacting, and she's getting hits as well on these players, and
getting some bangers.
I don't think it's going to stop anytime soon. So again, y'all, just if you haven't bought stock in NC State softball already, do it now before it's too late. It's going to fly.
Yeah, I know there was a few recruits in last weekend. There's probably going to be a few this weekend. It's just she's give her time. She's cooking, and I said it last week. I just think that our coaches that we're bringing in, we're in really good shape with these coaches. They're just real personable. They're easy to approach. Got good pedigree. I think for everything that Boo takes on the chin from the fan base, and because rightfully so, to a point, because of the revenue sports, people don't pay attention enough to these sports that we're trying to highlight a little bit more than your average podcast. And so I think, I think, people are going to start showing up, and it's just, there's one thing that NC State fans do well is they back winners, and I have no doubt that you're going to start seeing sellouts at some of these schools, or excuse me, at some of these sporting teams events. I think last year, I think softball broke a few records for attendance, and I would be shocked if they didn't re-break those records this year.
Agreed, 100%. So and Hunter's saying real, no real, and she is it. again, I mean, she just got the number 5 overall recruit, and it wasn't like, one of the, it's like, a new hire and a hype behind a new hire. Like it's no, like she really does like believe in what Coach Leftwich can develop out of her, not only as a player but as a person. But also too, like she wants to be a part of something that, and again, spoiler alert, again, if you want to check out the full answer, go check out our interview with Maddie Smith. But Maddie Smith, I mean, she says she wants to be a part of something that is different, a part of something that is building, a part of something that has never happened before at NC State softball.
Yeah, it's and I love when athletes want to forge their own path and go be the big fish in the small pond instead of the small fish in the big pond,
Yep.
and go create their own legacy.
Exactly.
And just kind of look, the greats will always be remembered wherever they go to play at. I think this has the ability to be like, okay, I was the one. Now, even if we don't win quote unquote championships or whatever, but the fact that you were part of the culture change, that you've now gotten the program on the right track, and then the next the next group comes in and then takes it to the next level. And I think that's what these ladies, especially with softball, is they're seeing that, hey, they can be the start of something. Like, I know the mantra from basketball, why not us? And I think it's resonating in these other sports as well.
Yeah. I mean, and first of all, I got to give a shout out to Andy, which, I didn't even see this comment, but saying, regardless, I will be at Cal in the third row behind the team. And Greg, I know you'll be there too, right?
Yeah, so I was gonna look at my buddy who lives in Oregon, went out there this weekend. He was there at the Cal Miami game. He and his buddies, they can make a trip every year. One went to UVA, one went to Miami, and then he went to State. And so they always do a guys trip to one of the schools. And so he went up there last week, and they were in the row 24. And he says it's like climbing Everest at that stadium. It's very like steep up. So I was like, okay, so I don't want to sit low. And he goes, no, it's like 90 rows from like the low up to like the concourse. So I decided not to do that. So I will be in row 23, 25. I don't remember where I just bought my tickets like 2 hours ago. So
there you go.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Also, too, as well, I got to give a shout out to women's basketball. Adelaide Jernigan, a North Carolina born and raised player, the number 1 overall recruit in the state of North Carolina, and the number 64 overall recruit in the country. Combo guard, committed to NC State over the weekend as well. But again, just for me, this is kind of just business as usual.
Just West doing West.
Just West doing West. Exactly. It's like, cool. Like, it just again goes to talk about, what we talked about with Debbie Antonelli, where it's just like, listen, I mean,
Are we really surprised?
Exactly. Are we really surprised? And I mean, is Westmore knocking on the door of being the greatest women's basketball head coach in state history? I mean, and if you want to hear more about that conversation, go check out our interview with Debbie Antonelli as well. So, but again, just great get, and again, excited about Adelaide and what she can bring and what she can add on to with this already great backcourt we have with Samaria Jones and Zoe Brooks that she's probably going to be playing with next season as well.
Yeah, just to put it into perspective, she was at the opening game on her visit, so this was something that's been cooking for a little bit. She was one of their big recruit visits on the opening night. So just to see it come full circle and come to fruition, and I'm excited. Just Coach, that's the other thing too. Like, there's such a honey hole here in North Carolina for women's basketball too. You don't have to scour, even though Coach Moore does a great job, especially bringing the, a recruit in from Sweden and Australia. And like, he definitely leaves no stone unturned in the recruiting game. No. But the mere fact that you can keep these recruits home and still be successful is a testament to both the state of North Carolina high school basketball and Coach Moore.
Agreed.
More.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Boss, too, one cool thing that happened during the game on Saturday, which maybe is the only cool thing that happened during the game on Saturday, is the Mr. and Miss Wolf reenacting their wedding by the Demon Deacon and saying
they renewed their vows.
Renewing their wedding vows. Too awesome. Hey, that's just cool to see. So
it's fun.
It's fun. I definitely need to make a picture with like the original OG picture beside this picture. Like
It's
I need
creepy
to do that.
scary.
Yeah, no, I mean how much the costumes have developed over the last 40 years. So
Yeah, roughly
yeah,
40.
no, too cool there. Um, but moving on as well, lastly, got to give a shout out to NC State Ice Pack for a couple of reasons, y'all. I mean, first of all, they've been hot so far to start. It just seems like every single time I check to see what's going on with NC State Ice Pack, they're winning. They've been really, really hot so far this season. And especially too with they're playing UNC in their first game of the season here coming up here this Friday night in Invisalign Arena. So make sure to go and check that out, y'all. But if you're going to miss it, make sure to check them out on ESPN Plus.
How as cool is this?
I know. All games are going to be streamed now instead of on through Pack TV. It's going to be on home games. Yes, home games. All home games will be streamed live on ESPN Plus.
Can I ask you a question about this? Because of this announcement?
Yes.
Coach Healy's going to do the play-by-play?
No. Why?
Because it said about Coach Healy on the broadcast.
He announced it during the second intermission.
Oh, okay. I was like, how is he? That's impressive. He's going to like call line changes in the middle of like announcing the game. Okay, that makes more sense. I was like, again, okay, perfect.
Yep.
Perfect. That might have been my lack of sleep at the time when I read it.
Yeah, but also you got to give a shout out as well as they really made an impact to going and putting a foot forward to try and help those in North Carolina, giving a free admission to anybody who brought donations for the App State, and actually they even had App State hockey players actually there accepting the donations. So super cool thing, and I just love what they're doing and love how they're playing so far this season, playing really well so far. Got to work on discipline a little bit, stay out of the box a little bit more. But, I mean, this is a talented team, y'all. So make sure to go and support the Ice Pack. Again, super cheap ticket. I think it's like $7 for a ticket, walk up to the front door. And it's a great time. So make sure to go and especially this Friday at Invisalign Arena, go check them out, y'all. And you will not regret it. So with that being said, Greg, I think we've made it all the way through all of our tweets of the week finally. And, I mean, just to kind of summarize it is, listen, I mean, as rough as football is right now, I mean, there's so much good right now going on through NC State right now. So make sure to go and check it out, get involved, get excited. We're only a couple weeks away from the basketball season getting started. So excited about that.
Yep.
And again, let's just go and do what we do, y'all, which is go pack the stands here this Saturday night against Syracuse and, do our part to win this football game. And, that's all we can do. And, just hopefully what we see on the field matches the energy that we'll bring to that stadium on Saturday night. So,
yeah, agreed. Please wear black. I don't want to hear anything about, well, that's not really our colors, we're the red and white of NC State. Like, just wear black. Go out, and that's how you really can support these guys. All right. Like, let's go do our part as fans. Let's stop stop arguing with each other on social media. Look, and this nonsense about people wearing paper bags. Look, if you're going to do that, just stay your ass home. I'm sorry. Like, just go donate your tickets, whatever. Just, we don't need it. We don't need it. We don't need it. So, that's my soapbox. But a couple things real quick, if I may.
Go for it.
Shout out to Ken's, who couldn't be on with us tonight. She was in a little car accident yesterday, got banged up. She's doing okay, but she wasn't able to join us. So we're thinking about you, Ken's. Also, Michael is, for anyone that doesn't know, lives down in the Clearwater area, which is going to be severely impacted by this hurricane. I think Milton, and so we're thinking about you, Michael, as you prepare for the storms and stay safe. We also have a lot of people that's tied to, has NC State ties to the Tampa Bay area, to the Hillsborough area, which is looking like it's going to be a direct impact. A couple of our baseball families are down in that area, so if you can give them a thought and a prayer as they're getting ready to prepare for this. And then lastly, I know we're rivals with North Carolina, but Tylee Kraft, who's been battling cancer from their football team, is he was hospitalized over the weekend. So, buddy, we're thinking about you. Damn the rivalries. We're thinking about you. So that's all I got, man.
That's awesome. And then One other thing as well, even for the other member of Tuffy Talk that's not here with us, Macon Adams, with a lot of family issues right now, and I'll keep it at that. That's probably going to keep him away a good bit from the Tuffy Talk side for a bit. Won't necessarily share much about what's going on, but just say that it's just a rough time right now for him and his family. So please, all prayers as well for him would be greatly appreciated as well.
Thanks. I didn't know
But
that.
in the meantime as well, Macon, Michael, Kins, we're holding it down for y'all. And again, we appreciate everybody tuning in here with us. Everybody was amazing tonight. The comment section was awesome. And just like Hunter said as well, don't forget to like the pod as well. Okay.
Appreciate
Hit
that.
that like button as well. Appreciate that, Hunter. You're the man. Again, y'all wear black on Saturday. Heads up, heart tough together. Let's keep it going. Let's do our part to make this the best football season that we can make out of it.
Let's stay together. Stay together as a fan base.
Amen. Let's make it happen. But again, we appreciate y'all. We love you guys. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and make sure to go check out all of our amazing recent content, including our interview with Debbie Antonelli, Maddie Smith. Go check it out, y'all. And go check out our amazing sponsors at Coney Gold, Small Batch Barbecue Sauce. Special shout out to our amazing sponsors. Hit that link down in the description below and use that code TuffyTalk to get 15% off your entire order. And if your order is over $99, you also get free shipping as well. So go take advantage of that here today. You will not regret it. I guarantee it. But again, thank you all so much for tuning in. We love you guys. Let's keep doing this and let's make a difference. Go Pack, y'all.
Go Pack.
And be